might be my favorite match of the night. Even though we've seen a lot of great matches. But I gotta tell you that Papadon is a wily ring veteran, and he seems to be the journeyman that has a real problem with the style of today, if you know what I mean.
Kevin, I have to agree with you that this might be one of the favorites of the evening. But we have Absolute in the ring. Here we go.
This guy is current, I want to say, NAW champion.
Yes, that is correct. NAW heavyweight champion, making waves as a single star after many years as a tag team specialist alongside his tag team brother Whiplash, and sometimes even in trios action with the Monster Rays as the Zoltan.
But you're talking about the gun. But here we go, you hear that familiar music. It's time to bow down to Greek royalty with Papadon.
So, I gotta tell you, years ago, when I quit wrestling, I went back to college. I got my degree. One of the classes I took was mythology. I have the textbook in my car right now. And it makes a lot of reference to the Greeks basically creating the sport of wrestling. Now, the only thing I didn't see in the index or anywhere in the book, I don't think there's an actual god named Papadon. There's a Poseidon, there's a Zeus, there's a Hades. I just don't think there's a god. I think, but I gotta tell you, when you've wrestled as long as this guy has, he probably has a god complex, and rightfully so.
Kevin, I'm surprised you're not saying he is that Greek god. He's added to the newer books of mythology here.
This is 20 years ago I took this class. I wasn't in there at that point in time.
Why do you still have the textbook in your car?
I like to read stories to my kids about overcoming the odds. Like, you never know when I'm going to need them to clean out stables.
Okay, but here we go. We talk about this matchup. Again, it's that generational battle between Kris Kage and Papadon. Kris Kage, the Absolute, has studied men just like Papadon. He has seen what a veteran like Papadon has done.
I mean, Kris Kage was trained at the feet of the SAT. For a long time, many people thought that the Zoltan, Kris Kage and Whiplash, would be the next generation of the SAT.
This is true, and they did almost so. They've had a great career, but now Kris Kage looking to prove that he can do this as a singles competitor. Like we said, he's won multiple championships on his own.
I will say, I saw this kid cut a promo recently. I believe it was the Win Facebook page. I hope everybody checks that out. And I will say, man, he's young, he's brash. This looks like Bryce Harper in 2012 when he came into the league and started this wave and this movement of cockiness, and how it took over the game with his backflips and stuff. And he might be facing a very veteran pitcher, someone like a Jamie Moyer, who was, he pitched until he was like, I think he was like 63.
I mean, I would put Papadon more on the line of maybe a Randy Johnson. Somebody who, even as he got a little older, even as he lost a little velocity, he was still one of those feared pitchers you were going to go up against, and he could still go out there and get 12 strikeouts, 13 strikeouts on any day.
Well, don't get me wrong. Jamie Moyer had a very, very long career. It's not filled with a ton of accolades, but he was a multiple-time All-Star, and he had a very, very long pension.
Gentlemen, I have to tell you this though. I'm sorry to interrupt, but did you hear the crowd? They're chanting for Kris Kage. They're going wild here for absolute Kris Kage.
Hold on. At this point, I've been told that I have to mention, as per Papadon, that the Greeks invented going wild or something.
They did this as well. Okay.
Listen, Papadon needs silence, and if the fans are basically saying that they're chanting for Kris Kage, and we're in New Jersey, and you know the IQ level in this room is very, very low. Like if you harnessed it into electrical energy, you may be able to toast some bread very lightly. I can now say, beyond the shadow of a doubt, I'm picking Papadon away.
Papadon to the outside, taking a break.
Kevin, is this your pick? I mean, he's sitting down. Why is he not in the ring? You can't win a match on the outside, Kevin.
This is a very, very smart, wily veteran. I had a chance to talk to him in the locker room. CageMatch.net says he's had 576 matches. Okay? 576 matches. And he said, they're wrong. I had more. That's how many matches this guy's had. He knows what he's doing. I think you need to have faith that this veteran is going to get the upper hand on this cocky, brash, young, punk whippersnapper.
Well, I wouldn't call Kris Kage a punk or a whippersnapper. Over 15 years of experience for Kris Kage. But you know what's interesting, Kevin, is when I broke into the business about 11 years ago, Papadon was one of those guys that was at the top of multiple companies like NYWC and Five Borough Wrestling, and even down south at AML down in North Carolina. In fact, Papadon has been an AML World Heavyweight Champion. And here I am, 11 years later, in my journey in this incredible business, and Papadon is still one of the best in the business.
Yeah, of course he is. I mean, listen, he won the Super 8 tournament in 2012. He was a 7-time tag champion with 7 different organizations, 9-time promotional champion with 7 different organizations. He was the 2004 Declaration of Independence Tag Team of the Year, 2010 DOI Most Improved Wrestler. This guy made 167 on a PWI 500, and he was ranked higher than guys like Josh Alexander. I mean, Josh Alexander's the Impact World Champion. So this is a guy who he had a very, very fantastic, successful career. It probably could have been more successful, but the style today that started selling seats started ruining his life, and that's why he's just ticked off, and he's probably going to shut a lot of people's mouths in this organization because they follow the style that SAT brought to the table.
Well, then when you look at that again, Papadon is that man that wants people to stop slapping their leg. He wants it to go back to the ways of what the Greeks invented here. He looks to reclaim professional wrestling for his ancestors, for those same mythological gods that you were talking about earlier, Kevin.
Well, Kevin, you talk about the style of today. There were guys, Papadon comes from that era, much like yourself. Papadon, the SAT, guys like Homicide, Monster Mac, Dan Moff, the list of Low Key. Those guys who revolutionized professional wrestling, but yet for some reason were always overlooked by the big contracted companies and always overlooked by the top companies in the world, at least in the United States. And you sit there and you wonder, you look 20 years later, who's still going strong? Papadon, Homicide, Dan Moff, Steve Monster Mac, SAT.
Pete, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but look who's going strong right now is Kris Kage. He's looking to end this with that patented elbow drop off the top.
Nope. That's a wily veteran move right there.
Okay, that as much as we were talking about Kris Kage doing his research and studying the likes of Papadon, you have to think Papadon did some studying on Kris Kage as well.
Oh, listen, Papadon is a very smart individual.
Oh, look at that.
See?
Again, very calculated there. Come on, referee needs to stop this though.
Listen, I've been saying this all night. There's got to be a way to be smart about wrestling, about using your opponent's momentum against them, to do everything in your power to win.
Did Papadon just try to strike the child?
He did not. He's a professional.
I think the child was mouthing off to an elder.
Oh, look at that. Has him locked in here. Oh, and then a strike.
And Papadon doing what he does best. You saw him get the advantage, using a veteran mover, pulling that ring apron and stopping the basement dive of Kris Kage.
Look at this now. Papadon setting up here. Could he be thinking suplex? And he does.
Snap suplex with authority, covered by Papadon.
The execution of that was flawless.
Gentlemen, we've been talking about the 10-man eliminator coming up this May, actually, for that Wrestling Is Now Heavyweight Championship. Kris Kage has been confirmed. You have to think this plays an element here in Papadon. He has not locked in his position yet.
Are you telling me that Kris Kage is in the 10-man eliminator?
This is true.
Papadon is not? This is not a qualifying match?
Unfortunately, this is not, Kevin.
Cage is already selected to be in the eliminator match. Papadon not.
So that's just ludicrous.
Well, one thing you gotta wonder again. We mentioned this earlier on tonight. You know, when Jaden Balo faced face. If Papadon is able to get a victory over Kris Kage here tonight, how does that change the decision makers' minds in the back? Do they take Cage out of the match and put Papadon in? Do they add Papadon to the match and keep Cage in? Does a victory over someone already in the eliminator have a major effect on the makeup of that match?
Well, let's go through this, okay? We know we got PJ Savage. We know we got Conway. We know Dickie Rodds is in there.
Face.
We know Face is in there.
Kris Kage.
Wait, who's the first guy? Ellis.
And Ellis.
Taylor just qualified earlier tonight.
So there's 4 other spots. I think just based on seniority alone, Papadon should just be in there.
Well, you gotta wonder what the logic was not putting him in to begin with.
I think it's ageism.
Really?
Or there's some kind of ism because the bookers and the SAT might have something against him. This sounds like it's a blood feud.
You're saying
about to boil over.
You're saying it's SATism?
Are you trying to go against the guys that are signing our checks here, Kevin?
You're signing our checks? That's not going to be a very big check.
My check is signed by an offshore drilling company.
You're telling me that your check is signed by Exxon Valdez?
Yes. NBP.
Let's go back to the action.
I was getting Venmo transactions.
I get paid in Louisiana sand dollars.
The Greek god Papadon not enjoying that was just a 2 count there.
We just let Ray be here.
Yeah.
Work your way up, kid. Get the experience. That's how you do it.
And again, these underhanded tactics by the Greek god Papadon. The referee needs to get control of the action here.
Listen, by no means am I a fan of anybody not following the rules, but at the end of the day, and Kevin will tell you, the goal of the match is what, Kevin?
To win the match.
To win the match. And
Are you just going to agree with whatever Kevin says?
By any means necessary.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The goal is to win the match. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's pretty, doesn't matter if it's ugly. A win is a win is a win.
You can schoolboy a guy, or you can punch him in the hootis and then roll him up.
In the what?
The hootis.
I can't say the C word.
Oh, this is true. Okay. Oh. Again.
You know,
Come on, Kevin.
one shot. That's all, folks.
I really can't.
That's a forearm to the eyes, just raking across his eyes. I think you're going to see big, puffy, black and blue eyes and a broken nose under those sharp sunglasses that Kris Kage wears.
I hope the capo gets back in this here.
got to think, if all the time Kris Kage has spent being the consigliere to other professional wrestlers rather than being in the ring, is coming back to bite him.
You better be careful what you're talking about, Pete. Don't mess with the Don.
Do you think he was a consigliere to Santos before?
No, of course not.
No, that's a whole nother family there.
And to your little comment, Ray, I've been to a boot party and I ain't scared.
This is what I say. Be careful what you wish for. But here we go. The Greek God finding out what Kris Kage is all about here.
Tell Thanos if he's feeling froggy, he can snap.
Well then, Kris Kage here with a combination. The Greek God doesn't know what hit him. Irish whip here by Kris Kage. Could he be thinking, oh, back body dropping.
Back body drop.
I just want to know where Papadon got such a good tan in the middle of March.
Papadon sciatica might be killing him right now.
Well, when you've been alive for that long as the Greek God has, I'm sure you got something aching. I mean, Kevin, you've got the meniscus. I've got the hip. And Ray's got the, well, he can't find little Ray.
Could you stop it, Pete?
He's 12 though. He'll drop soon.
This is true. Kage up top. Cross body on the Papadon cover. 1, 2. And a kick out by the Greek God.
I told you. This Greek God is resilient. He has a long career for a reason.
Kage came flying from the heights of Olympus, but could not take down the Greek God.
Spinebuster.
With authority.
That move looked very good. That's a beautiful kick out there, Papadon.
Shades of Arn Anderson with that spinebuster, Kevin.
I know it well. I won my title with that move.
And right here behind the commentary position, you see Kage's trainers, the SAT, urging him on, trying to get a victory for their protege.
I take Venmo.
I feel like this commentary table has been brought to you by Venmo today. But here we go now.
I'm sponsored by Cash App.
Oh, I got Cash App too.
Wait, look at this. Greek God Papadon off the second rope.
Vintage Papadon. In fact, I've been told to say that is actually the Greek uppercut. The Greeks invented the flying, twisting uppercut.
What happened the Greeks invented, Pete?
So wait a minute. You're telling me the European uppercut was invented by the Greeks?
Yes.
Where's Greece?
Somewhere in Europe.
Ray, did you learn this yet in geography class?
He can't pick up Canada on a map.
Ooh, sniff boot to the eye.
My degree would say otherwise, but we got Papadon with some educated strikes there to Kris Kage.
Listen, the paper mache project you made in art class doesn't count. Anyway, back to the match here, back to the action that matters.
I'm going to pay Dream World to see you, Pete. And here we go, Kris Kage now.
He didn't hold it.
Oh, beautiful super kick there.
And that levels Papadon cover. 1, 2.
So
The
close.
resiliency of the veteran is amazing.
You know, Kevin, at some point early in your career, you were in the ring against those established veterans. And when you are the young gun in that match, and you get to these longer matches, and the veteran can rely on their instinct and their knowledge, what do you got to go to as the young gun looking to shock the world and score a victory over a veteran like that?
So you always have to isolate their weakest spot. And if their weakest spot, for example, is Papadon sciatica, then you isolate it.
Well, right now the weakest spot, the top of Kris Kage's head. That draping DDT by Papadon, covered down the middle of the ring. 2.
Oh,
Wow.
wait. I think that was a 3. Was Kris Kage able to kick out there? What a draping DDT. Look at that. Even the crowd, I think, believes that was a 3 count.
I think they were just asking New Jersey what year it was, and they keep saying 2-3, 2-3.
Oh wait.
Papadon
This might
trying
be
to set
it.
Cage
Whoa.
up. Cage fighting out of that pile driver.
Whoa, what is this? Can he get over there? Oh!
Punched the mat with his southpaw.
No one. Oh, wait, look at this. Uranagi there. Oh. Senton by Cage.
Flying senton covered by Cage, too.
Oh, again, such a close count there after that combination by Kris Kage.
That combination is very familiar.
It only takes 3 seconds to win a match, but that can be the longest 3 seconds of the match at many points.
I think
This is
Samoa
true.
Joe put a bunch of people away with that same combination. Uranagi, senton.
You're
And
not
now
wrong.
that's it.
You're not wrong, Kevin. It has put away so many. This is why Samoa Joe currently is that Ring of Honor television champ. And look at this now. On to the... oh. What is he going to hit here? Oh!
It is.
Twisting neck breaker by Papadon, but notice, I think he almost landed, instead of the neck on the leg, he landed the side of Cage's head onto the top of his kneecap.
I think he was trying to go for a jawbreaker there, Pete.
The wily veteran knows what he's doing here.
But
He's
again,
selling to the crowd, and he's telling them it is over. You gotta trust in veterans when they have the experience.
but wouldn't you want to get the pinfall, Kevin? He took away so much time. Look at that! Catching him in the cutter. This might be it there.
And you
In
talk
position, 1, 2.
And Kevin, earlier tonight, you talked about some of the wrestlers pandering to the crowd. And Papadon.
But they don't have that experience.
Showing off to the crowd. And it cost him in a big way.
You're right. He shouldn't have handed it.
Do you two just want me to leave? Because you guys are agreeing with everything.
I'm fine with that.
Wow.
No, Ray, I like you. I told you, you gotta stay. I'll get you milk and cookies later.
Papadon almost.
Oh!
Well, that's what we call the Kevin Bates special.
Kevin, did you talk to Papadon before this match?
No.
The Kevin Bates special. What we like to call a little
No.
a little shot in the ding ding.
This has put so many away. This might be it. 1, 2, 3.
Your TikTok buddy's counting him down too.
Pile driver gets the job done.
Hey, Ray, what'd I tell you? I told you he was gonna win.
Kevin, again, just how could you agree with that? After the great match we just saw, a mat classic.
Well, it was.
Papadon had to do an underhanded tactic like that and low blow Kris Kage.
It was a patented, and by the way, Greek invented kick in the ding ding.
Pete, would you shut up?
How dare you? Respect your elders, sir.
I have to tell you, I think Kris Kage got what was coming to him only because that very brash, cocky promo that he cut about the elder statesman who is now teaching the young children about the history of Greek-Roman wrestling.
I think Papadon again just tried to strike a child.
I wish he would strike you.